Hey everybody, it's Never, and I'm going to talk to you about WoW Classic because somebody asked me to. Hey, look at that. The vendor's floating in the air with me. So, WoW Classic. First, real quick, I want to talk about my experience with vanilla WoW. It was really amazing, and I think that most of the reason it was amazing is because it was new and I was discovering everything and I was a complete idiot and had no idea what I was doing. And that counts for a lot. I think that a lot of the reason that Classic feels so good, even playing it now, is because it lets you sort of relive those amazing moments. I remember the moment that really kind of hooked me on the game was when I was trying out a lot of characters, and I made a new character. It might have even been the first one, but I don't think it was. And as it was doing the little introduction, it says, "The Noble Tauren, blah, 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 blah." And I saw people running around doing stuff in the area. And they had names over their heads, and they weren't like names that NPCs would have, and I realized those are actual players doing stuff right now. And that was so cool. And so that was one of the big moments for me. So playing in vanilla, it was really awesome because it was all new, and the game had a sense of danger at the time. The world felt huge, and you felt very small compared to it. And I would say those are different things. Because the world feeling large has a lot to do with how easy it is to get around it, but feeling small has to do with how dangerous the world is, how much you fear for your own survival. In vanilla, if I went and I pulled a couple of mobs, I could handle them pretty well. But if it was 3, it was dodgy. If it was 4, I better have potions or cooldowns. If it was 5, I better get super lucky. And so now, oh, I mean, come on. I go into bear form and I'll pull 30, and no big deal. Leveling up at the beginning of Battle for Azeroth was a little more like that, and there were some nice things about that, but it came out of nowhere. So, classic as opposed to vanilla. I think that it's a really smart idea for them to do this, and I think that just about everything about the way they're doing it is right. I think it's a really good idea for them to include it with the regular subscription. That'll definitely help their metrics, and oh, that's weird. Look how funky that is. Huh. Oh, now I have a new hobby. It'll improve their metrics, and it will allow for the best possible vanilla experience, because nobody wants all the bugs that were there, at least not more than once. So I think that updating the engine in the way that they are and changing a few of the things here and there, some of the graphical fidelity of a few things, is perfectly fine with me. Because really, it's not the visuals of it that I think people are drawn to. It's the gameplay and the structure of things. I will dabble in it, but I probably won't do a lot in it. Most of that is probably due to time restraints. I mean, if you've seen my upload schedule lately, you'll know that I'm a pretty busy guy doing things that aren't related to this, and playing Classic to any significant degree would cut into that even more. But here's what I think is the best possible thing about Classic. Here's the potential really nice thing. If Blizzard sees people respond to Classic very well, and having the ability to take detailed metrics that they have now, which are even greater than they did when vanilla was around, it might influence the live game a little more for the better. If they see that people really appreciate and really enjoy having more difficult outdoor mobs, and having more detailed and intricate systems behind all the stuff your character does, and having less linear and streamlined things and more open choice or player autonomy when it comes to exactly how you go about doing things, perhaps that could influence how the next expansion goes, and it may be a little more like Classic than expansions have been in a long time. So I'm hoping that sort of a thing happens, because that would only do the game favors. If you look at the other video that I'm putting up, or that I put up recently, I talk a lot about that, about how what sort of things are making the game frustrating for people from what I can see, and ways that you could fix them. And I really think that most of it, the most valuable thing they could do, it comes down to how fun is it, how engaging is it to play your character. Because if that's in a good place, then a lot of other things can suffer. Really engaging character gameplay will cover a multitude of sins. But boring, frustrating, or very gutted feeling gameplay, it takes a lot of exceptional other things to make up for that. And right now, the gameplay is good but not great, and that makes it very easy to see the other flaws in the current state of the game. So I hope that Classic does that more than anything. I guess the second most important thing is that it will give all the people that want to play Classics a way to do it without having to do weird, dodgy things, trust in private server organizations that may get shut down or may stop working for whatever reason. And it's not like it's a big, shaky thing, because there have actually been some that have been really successful from what I understand. But I think having an official way to do it will only do everyone a lot of good. Some people may be upset that they need to pay a subscription fee for it, but I think that expecting to not have to do that is optimism to the point of foolishness. So yeah, I think Classic I think it can only do good for the game. I don't think that it's robbing resources from the retail game. I don't think that it will have a negative impact on the retail game. I think it can only cause happy things to happen. But I will not be getting very, very deep into it just because I don't have a lot of time to. So if you're super stoked and excited for Classic, then let me know why below in the comments. Otherwise, I will see you in it somewhere. I still haven't decided what I'm gonna play, because a lot of just the idea of not having transmog is really, really difficult for me, because I'm a fan of the live game quite a bit more than Classic. And this is the truth. If I had the option to go back and play the game at any point in its history, I wouldn't. I would stay on the most recent, newest version of the game, and I would have said that at just about any point in its past. There are things I would like, specific things I would like changed back or brought back, but as a whole, no, I want to stay with the newest one. I don't want to go back to how other things were, because there's a lot of stuff I wouldn't want to give up. Think about going back to Wrath of the Lich King or Burning Crusade when the game was numerically at its best. Well, with Wrath of the Lich King, there was no transmogging, and that's a tough one. There were none of the new race class combinations. There were no monks. There were no demon hunters, although I guess I wouldn't miss that very much. There was no toy box, no mount or pet. I just got disconnected. Oh, because it's that Zeppelin disconnects sometimes. Anyway, yeah, I think I've said enough about Classic and my feelings about it. So anyway, I hope that you're excited for Classic, and I hope you love it. Okay, thanks, bye.